works on them. It always surprises me when something works, right? It is him, Warrior Jr. He lives, yes, still, believe it or not, sometimes. Sometimes it surprises me that, that I'm still here, but, I am. I am. Very good living, early morning, whatever it is. And, we're going to get to the topic activity in a second. Uh, I guess we'll start with a precursor. Like, you ever just feel like life is kicking you in the balls constantly? I apologize. I'm trying to get my camera right here. That's not right. You ever feel like life is kicking you in the balls? Like, what I mean by that is, like, it can be a couple things. Well, we all say, oh, it's one thing on top of another. This is not going for me. That's not working out. This is not. Or just, you just don't see any progress. Like, it's. Now, I'm not trying to tell you what you need to do. I'm just talking about me. And, I'm about it, And that's a long time. That's, you know, 55 weeks. You know, I'm like, need a tissue. So hold on, hang in there. I do apologize. The Warrior Junior sometimes, it's really like allergy season. Allergies like break out. I think I don't. That's a weird thing. I don't know what it's if I'm taking. If it's pro hormones, food, or just seasonal allergies. I always like break out. Like on my arms, shoulder area. Not too much on my back, but just a little bit on the face, but mostly on my body. So the thing is, I take experiment with a lot of different supplements, and it's like you need are just about there, you know, without any help. It's kind of like I always had the drive. Like I always like pushed hard. Older, the testosterone levels start going down. That's par for the course. You know, you want to have everything optimal or optimal plus. Like as much as you can. Like you want the most bang for your buck. Like if you're putting in a lot of effort. And the thing is, if you look at, I watch on YouTube. I like to see what's out there, and I see bodybuilders, and they're fucking huge. Like or they're really cut up. And this one chick, she's like my height, like 5'9". Like it was her like to see. There was a dude that was like a CrossFit guy, like he was like 165, and then there was like this calendar model guy that was like 6'1" or 6'2", 195, and it was like it was like a combine, like to see how many times they could squat, and then strict curl 100 pounds, and she basically she beat those guys in all three, and the one I was most impressed with is the bench press, like a woman that could push 225, like I think she cranked out six serves. And I'm sick, like, fuck, it's a woman, right? It's like, but they're like a beast, and see, it pisses me off because, in a way, because I know she's taking like serious shit. That's the only way, those women have this kind of build like that. You can't. Their bodies will not develop like a man, And even me, like, it's. I've never taken anything nearly with nothing compared. If I took, if I if I took what those chicks were taking, I'd be like 250. I'd be fucking huge. I'd be fucking huge. I'm 5'9". Can you imagine? I'd be damn near close to 250 if I took the kind of shit they're taking. Okay, be fucking immense. Okay, and I just won't do it. And I'm, at my age, is something you cutting your life very very short for just so anyway, why do I talk about this? Because you know today in the morning or afternoon I did tries and traps, and then I had nothing to do like a couple hours ago. I don't know. I felt it. I said, let me go to the park and let me do some shit there, And I don't know if it's if look, this is like what I said earlier about when you just life is would be make money. For me, the woman thing kind of bothers me a lot. So I listened to this Casey Sander, and he's like, "Well, stop watching porn, and just go out there, talk to women authentically." Also, you like, they say the no fap thing, and they should women. Oh wow, she doesn't have to for 75 days. I mean, that's like, and 8 weeks. I mean, this is utter ridiculousness. So I think I had 4 days, 4 to 5 days. That's quite considerable for me. I consider myself a real man, and to not jack off for 4 or 5 days, not watch porn. That's it's not bad. And so what happened? I don't call it a relapse because it's not an addiction or anything. So I my phone died. And I was gonna call this chick anyway, like to try to see her at the hotel, and my phone's not working. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. I just got it. Like now it's not working now. So I said, you know what? I you know take care of business real quick, and I did. And I'll tell you something. It's kind of nice, when you. But listen, man. I feel you. Let's just be honest. Let's try to be honest here. It's very hard to get your needs met as a man for me. And that's why they have porn. That's why they have massage parlors. That's why they got Chabberbeak. That's why they got all this shit for. Because it's really, really difficult. Women don't understand. They want a commitment from a guy, and it's very hard. Listen, I walking around for 5 days. I didn't get any phone number. If there was anything, and no women would really give me a chance to respond to me. So it's just like It's a very, very tough thing, you know. Like I sympathize, and I'm like, if I don't know if it's just a natural testosterone what I'm taking, but I've always been like this. I've always been, you know, sexually aroused when I see that. I'm surprised even at this age it's still working and everything, but it is, it's just it's frustrating. It really is. It's really frustrating that. And they say, well, because you're watching this fantasy things, the porn, the fantasy, and you're dreaming you're going to be able to do that like a guy's doing it to the women. And it's not like that because like I said, I wasn't watching. You know, to me, that's quite considerable. Um, if you've heard me for any bit of time talk about, you know, my going to clubs, going to dances, going to this and that, and just not getting enough, and you know, a woman kind of summary judgment, sizing you up real fast, and boy, I'll tell you, and that's what leads me to the negativity. That's what leads to it. Like, the problem is, I was listening to a little, you know, with a cock and balls, right? They have no fucking idea. They have absolutely no idea. And it doesn't matter, but they basically, you know, they want you, like, these people are telling you, oh, this negativity, oh, no, don't be negative, don't have any negativity. Like, you're just supposed to prance around like Willy Wonka and all happy and joyous, and like when you're not getting your things out of life that are natural, like that, you know, you're supposed to be able to. And these people are telling you don't be negative. And here's another thing about negativity. I'll tell you that it's skewed. It's not, it's inaccurate because it's implying that you should walk around and do everything for everybody. Like, I live in this building. There's this gate there, and there was somebody, like, I didn't care. I didn't hold the door like I did. Oh, no. I didn't say no, no. I just kept going. Like at my gym, like, I know it's called to hold the door for people. I'm not a doorman. I'm not a doorman. It might not sound like it makes me look like I'm a evil person. I'm not a nice guy, and I don't care. And you know what? In a way, I don't care. I don't. Just like the women don't care. And let me explain to you why. I'm going up the escalator to my gym, right? There's an escalator that goes up to my gym on the floor. I'm walking, and there's this gay guy. He's like, he's moving real, like, kind of fast, and there was a girl behind him. Now, when I got to the top of the escalator, this guy was almost riding my ass. You didn't say hi, dingy. You know, he was looking at fucking me. He wasn't paying attention to this gay guy. And I am a real man right here. And I hate to break it to you, but gay people, they're interested in other guys. So they're effeminate, you know, like that's for the most part. Now, I don't, I'm just telling you what I notice, you know, and I don't care. But the thing is, do you see, looking at me, so he's wasting his time. The woman's trying to his the gay guy's attention. She's wasting her time, and it's like it's just a warped. It's a warped sense of. It's just a warped way of doing things, and that's what just it's a, not a, it agitates me because, like, you know, it just feels like none of it makes sense. Like, it's backwards. It's all, and you know, today, like, so the negativity, it's like my ignoring you might look like negative, but it's just I don't care about you, and it's just that's the reality. Like, it's like the women don't care about me. They give me, I give it back to you. You know, like I, and it's just the way it is. You know, like you know. I mean, CM Punk, like you said, I'd rather be hated for who I am than liked for than what I'm not. And it's just true. It's true because it doesn't matter if you're a nice guy. It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Um, you got to be selfish in life. You got to focus on yourself. Um, this is survival of the fittest as far as financial fitness, you know, and, you know, even though, because think about this. You ever see musical chairs when you're a kid? You know, there's chairs and the music starts playing. And, you know, the music plays, you walk around the chairs. And then when the music stops, you have to, if you don't have a seat, you're eliminated from the game. And in a way, think about this. If there's like how all these houses on the street, and there's, you know, people live in the houses, right? Well, if you're a bum and you don't have a house and you have nowhere to go home to, it's musical chairs. You're eliminated from the game. Do you understand? You know, like it's a grown up version of musical chairs. Nobody really taught me this. Now, if you don't have a family, then or somebody like a good bedrock foundation to build upon. You know, a family to tell you, okay, well, you know, you work for your dad's business or something. You get a good job out of college. You know, something educated. You know, it can be you could just, you know, wind up having nothing, being nothing. Like I have a friend, and you know, see, the problem herein lies that like this brutal honesty. You start telling, you know, like things, and people get offended real fast. Anyway, he's a good friend. He's a good guy. Like he's a good friend, but he just can't. He has to work for somebody else. You know, he can't. He told me today, like he's scared of everything. You know, he's like he can't stack out there really to do anything. Like he's waiting for, you know, to get a secured credit card. I go, why don't you fucking just apply now? For your score's gone up. Why don't you just apply for one of the good ones and go for it? You just work for somebody. Then he goes to me, oh, I'm saving up. I might buy a car, where he's used to renting them. Like, you know, so it's all a liability. You know, it's like going to spend $10,000, $15,000 on a car. It's just going to depreciate. Like cycle. You know, cycle in Jewish and Yiddish means like smart. Like cycle means you know how to like make money work for you. And taking all the money you have and buying a liability, you know, like it's not an asset. It's just no cycle, you know, like it's nish klieg. It's not smart, you know, like and well, like this guy's almost 60 years old, and he just, you know, he has no cycle, you know, like he just doesn't know how to do anything on his own. You know, he has to work for other people for what I call crumbs, for tiny, you know, like little crumbs. That's what he gets. He just doesn't know any better. Like, and I can't teach somebody like that because, you know, I'm just trying to do things on my own, trying to take care of myself. You know, it's hard enough. Like, okay with that for his life, then, you know, it's his life. You know, you can live it however you want. As far as negativity, let me get back to the topic. It's very easy for people to misconstrue and misunderstand what is considered my negativity. I am a very defensive person. I live in an area where there's a lot of gays, and I keep my guard up, which means that anytime I see anybody trying to get close to me, it's like I'm on yellow alert all the time. So that can be looked at like negativity. Let me give you an example. I was coming home from the market with my groceries, crossing a very long street, and these two gay guys, they had like these three dogs, this one husky and these two giant pit bulls. Now, I was at the end of the street, right? And I hear like these guys bolted across to make it, like, and they didn't care. They're like they were literally almost behind me. It was these idiots, like they had to make it. They had to run a bolt across the street, like they just couldn't fucking wait for the light to change. And when they did pass me, like within like 10 or 15 feet, and I said, I said this to myself. Well, I said it at a normal tone, but I said, these kind of people, they don't know how to use them. There's something wrong with. I said, there's something wrong with these people's brain. The way that they're, just their dogs running wild, like, it just startled me. Like, what's wrong with you kind of people? Like, what are you, what's wrong with your brains? I'll give you another example. I went to the park tonight, right? Now I use these rings, the rings, and these cars that are within close proximity to the one of the last rings. Now I need to either basically, when I start, I'm like within a foot or two of those parallel bars because they swing, and that right there in the workout area, like in the parallel, that they're gonna, I need to fucking use something. Now, I just don't get it. Like, and a body positioning, of course, facing me. It's just, see, I notice all this stuff, like it's amazing. Like, I was just say, are you guys just, why is it always too fast? It's like, what? See, like, that's my negativity. My agitation comes out because it's like everything you do out of life is like giving you attention. Like, why? Why is God angry? That's Star Trek 5. But why does life give you everything that you don't want? Everything, and never, like almost never give you what you want. Never. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't understand this. Unless you really are in hell, and that's, I start thinking like this. I say to myself, oh, the weather's so beautiful around. It doesn't matter. It's not, and just say, I guess anybody would just tell you, well, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. You didn't become richer. You didn't become, and this is the punishment that you receive for not becoming any of these things. I guess that's a valid point. I guess that's the way it works around here. A woman wants a successful man. I get that. I know. But I'm just telling you, like, it's just the chasm is so great. Like, to own a property here, it's like I have a friend. Like, his dad bought a condo back in the early '90s. He was smart. He knew, like, he said, why pay rent? Like, in a fairly affluent area of West Hollywood, you could buy a condo in the valley for 100,000 at the time. And that's for my friend. But his dad has made the move. Literally, figuratively, the move. And I nobody. I wish I had a father or my uncle or somebody to, like, teach me or show me this is how you kind of move ahead in life. But I grew up in a very tough um, thing. My grandparents that raised me, they were compulsive gamblers, so they didn't. It doesn't matter. Like, they didn't buy a property, a house. They rented and had nothing when they died. And this writer that was kind of like turning into a mentor for me. He talked, and I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying, like, you without that bedrock foundation, to build upon, your friend that made any money really. He bought books, his whole life, but he would never be able to afford a condo. That it's like the people that it matters how much money they have. It matters, how much they can put down. They root cash. I don't. There's something they gotta boost somehow. Good job that like really escalated, or something. It's something that I mean, I'm trying not to make excuses. I'm just trying to be because it's like I said with the musical chairs, nobody is going to fucking is gonna give up their seat for you like musical chairs. They want to win the game. So it's like if there's a line, if there's a street of houses and a guy out, I'm not trying to imply, like the life's not fair. People that have and nobody else. It's unfair that you know it's it's unfair that people work for minimum wage doesn't carry. You know what do I mean by that? I mean that there's no way they can live in an area like in the affluent area, work their ass off. It doesn't fucking matter because they can work till the end of time. They can't accrue enough money or whatever to get a mortgage loan or anything. If the median price of a condo is $600,000 in West Hollywood and you're making $10 an hour, is too great. And the problem herein lies that the government that the government should have stepped in and go, look, people that work in our country, they're the backbone, they're the lifeblood of everything. So we have to step in and we have to subsidize either like for homes or condos. Like somebody wants to own their own property and they're working. What the hell is this? Well, they got mortgage loans. It's not enough. It ain't enough because the 30 years and you calculated it. It's people got to eat too. So I'm talking about the government could subsidize, and say, look, people that are really, and the government should provide a lot more jobs. I mean, tons. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's like a handful of people that have everything, and then there's everybody else. My friend that lives in the valley, it's got his condo. It's worth whatever 600,000 700,000, and he's literally poor. There needs to be more opportunities than there are people. And if there's not, there's an immense problem. It's an immense problem. It's like a drought. You understand? You know what? There's a drought and there's no water. That means people are going to die. They can't. There's no water to drink, right? Well, if you have so many people and there's no jobs, it's the same fucking thing. We let this get out of hand, and what happened was, the people that were either lucky or they owned property already, they're pushed up. They're pushed up, or just the money is becoming worthless. Get it? Worth less. So it's just this whole system is designed to fail. The people that have are never going to have enough, and then the people, the working stiffs, the menial laborers, that will never be able to afford their own property. They'll never have a chance anyway. So the whole thing should just be destructive. You know, like I'm not. I mean, I look. I don't have the answer. I'm not saying I know everything, but do you see how this just separates everybody and makes it like really fucked up? What's it? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Like Spock said this, but you know what I would do? I mean, you know, there's strikes sometimes, the supermarket strikes. There needs to be like a nationwide strike, the whole country, and say we're shutting down the country until this is reformatted properly. Dead stop, you know, like because nobody would show up for work, everything. And you know, it'd be the absolute best thing of all because people would take a stand. Like, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. And see, so what would happen is, you know, now the problem is most people are slaves. You know, they work for piñons, or like pennies, so they can't. But do you understand if they just could and said, look, we're not. This is not going to fly because I want to own my own property. I'm working my ass off here, and this is not fair. So it basically be a strike against the country. And so, well, what are you proposing? What I'm proposing that the government has to uh, change the value of money and cap the value of property. Cap. That means that like it doesn't go like the house is to reside in. It's not to make money off it. That way, people that are working for their own condo or their own, but no, all these hazards out there, they're got all these real estate sharks. They're all trying to make money. You want to sell your home? You want to sell your home because they want to make a cut, and then the person who's looking to sell is looking to make a profit. So do you understand? The problem is the greed, the taken out of the equation. So it gives other people that are willing to work a chance to afford their own property. Go back far enough. So like at the beginning of the end was kind of like the gold standard. But it doesn't matter in 72 that where the money doesn't have any value, properties are so much. It's not because they're going up in value. It's because the value of the dollar is going down. So people don't realize that. And it's whose fault it is. Can't won't They won't do what I'm proposing. They won't because strike sometimes. No, I mean a nationwide strike where everybody fucking doesn't show up. No, we're not, and that's the problem. It's really backwards here. There's this guy that owns this coffee place. It's not far from me. The guy is worth maybe 50 million. I'm sorry, I hate saying that, but I'm Jewish, but he is. He's just a fucking. Some of these fucking people, like what he did to my friend that co-owned that earlier episodes, could have made my friend a millionaire easily. I heard him, but he's just a fucking dick. I hope he burns in hell, that guy. Hope he really does. With his coffee, his organic coffee. Hint, hint, Dumb fuck, The guy when I was a kid never offered me a job or anything. And I mean by a job, I wouldn't have taken it for real penny money. I wanted to fucking own a portion of the business. I'd be a multi-millionaire today. They deserve to rot in hell. They deserve to rot in fucking hell. A real fucking, real place for them. Real good place for them. I just I was never like that, you know, like unbelievable, unfucking believable. So what you call negativity, I call it what society has created. It's really your fault. I like this because I'm defending myself. I don't want anybody to take anything or any, anything from me, and that's what it is. So when people try to talk to me, whenever during the day, if it's irrelevant, generally tell them nicely to go fuck themselves. You know, like I nicely, or I just ignore them. Now there are exceptions. It does everybody. It just depends. Offensive person. I don't need you. I don't want to know who you are. You're not going to advance my dance movie script. You can't help me get anything worth a higher status. So in a way, you are useless to me. Now, there are a handful of people, and I mean a handful of people that I grew up with, kind of know them for an excess of 20 years. These people just implicitly, and this does not apply what I said earlier. There's a handful of fucking people. A handful. One of them is my friend Felix from Ukraine. You know, another one is this guy Alex that I know. He's from Russia. He's more of an acquaintance. He's not really, a friend is somebody that, you know, go to bat. Another guy is Harry. I have a couple more acquaintances, but they are on the lower tier. Another guy, Ruben, especially. My friend Pete that I grew up with kind of like left me hanging, so I don't really consider him value now. He's not really a good friend like he used to be. Same with my friend Jeff. I grew up with. Another one that kind of left me by the wayside. Those people, nothing really that they don't. They're part understand everything. There's a guy Chris too that he's a friend, but his mind is not work properly when it comes to how to accrue wealth and make money. But he is a good person, so I put him on that hand. I trust him implicitly. Besides that, there's nobody else. There's nobody. Everybody else is like they lie outside of that inner circle, and they're not coming in. Um, it's just there's so many people out there. They have no value to me, and I'm sorry. Like far outside. Somebody's never there for you their whole life. You can't expect to weasel your way in. And I hate using that term, but it's just true. I am kind of a cold person because of what I have seen out there. It made me this way, and I'm fine with it. I am a selfish person. I take care of myself. Nobody has put in the work in the gym. Nobody has lifted the weights for me. Nobody goes and buys all the food I need. Nobody goes and gets all the supplements I need. Nobody fucking does it for me. Nobody works on their doctorate for me. I do it all, and that's all that fucking matters. So I'm not, I'm sorry. It's like you are basically on the fringe, and likely you are not coming in. You are not getting on my putting green. The people I mentioned, they're on the putting green with me because I know these people for decades. Oh, and another guy, he's on the hand, is John, Israeli John. Um, I know him for decades too, so I trust him. He's got his own family and shit, but he's one of those guys that I can, and you know, he's on the inner part of the fringe, like I. But you got to be careful who you trust, and none of these people have ever asked me for a dime. You know, the guy Ruben, that's all he does is drink and smoke all day. Sometimes he asks me back within a couple of days, so that's okay. Like $20 or something. That's not going to kill me, but you know, it's just that's how it is. Whenever I walk around at night or whenever, if I see anybody getting within, close, I make sure, and if they try to talk to me, I get them out of there. Like I really make sure that you whatever you have to say falls on deaf ears. I mean, I am like military mind kind of thing. Like you are, I won't even acknowledge that. I won't even get. You're not in my military. Like you're not a private because you're not not in my you're not in my league. Like it's like when I go to the park and I exercise. Like people, if they try to act, I ignore them. Like you're not my advice, my attention, like really nothing. And I know makes me sound like negative, makes me sound like an asshole, makes me sound like this, but this, I really just put you like all these people into like this. Like, they don't mean anything. They can't do anything for me unless you're a woman that's really meets my specifications that I like. Then to hell with you. Like I'm just sorry. Goes to me goes, we don't, we don't need you, and that's basically all I needed to hear. Once he said that, period, he would have done anything for. It was so hard for me to write that email. I figured I put my heart on my sleeve like that. That was like, and she never responded. Like one of my biggest dreams was being in the wrestling business. 30 years of working out for something like that, and I know the realization that's not going to happen. But I thought I met the woman in my dreams. Or like I thought God's way of. I really thought God existed at that point because introduced. I mean, I basically, and she just never responded. You know? Talk about just you know it's like what are you gonna fucking do? What are you gonna fucking do? It's always been that way for me. I never hit it. Literally, I never hit it. I waited my whole life for something like that, and of course, what's the end result? Nothing. Nothing. Everybody's got a story. My friend talks about he thinks he has a girlfriend. You know, and I know he's just paying on the one of these sites on Chabberbait or whatever. You're never gonna fucking get. You no fucking idea these women do. They manipulators. They're con artists. They tell you things like they like you, but the bar is so fucking high in Los Angeles that just the chasm. And George Nori was talking about this today. People are real negative. People, yeah, well, that's because there's too many, only a handful to have all the wealth, good opportunities. If I didn't have, I wouldn't be here. I really wouldn't. It's a fantasy fallacy pipe dream to live here. Anyway, I am me, and that's all there is to it. I just try to create the best version of myself, and that doesn't mean the nicest version of myself either. I'll have my doctorate degree by next year, repair my credit, start back up in the baseball card business. Enough, right? That's like my biggest dream. Las Vegas, that's what I dream about. Owning my own condo in a good area. I have my electric bike and I can go to markets. I can go to the gym. That's it. It's like all I need, really. There's a euphoric thing of the being there. Like it's. I just wish I had it set up, like where I could live life on my terms, and I just have not been able to do that because I'm not there yet. Like I made a catastrophic error in the stock market. Like that killed me. I gotta finish school first. I gotta get that doctorate degree just to say I got it. I know. Like I'm burning time, kind of, but I don't have a choice. I have to just grind for another 14 months, get this fucking thing. But I hate it here. I hate West Hollywood. I don't like them in the way that they just are not generous. They're fucking, they think like they're really something. Like as far as incredible beauty, there's most of them. There's just nothing. And I stoop. Ex-girlfriend is a prime example. She really thought she was something. She's out of her fucking mind. An arrogant, egotistical, jealous cunt, is what she was. Thank God I got rid of her. Miser. Let her find some other sucker. That other sucker ain't gonna get nothing. Most of these women, they have no fucking idea. They don't qualify for me based on a multitude of factors. You know? Ugh. something, I'm happy. Maybe you learned something. I try to always. So till next time, WJ, is trying to hang in there with this long, long grind.